So we're in Montreal and we're at Mint Barbershop with the guys, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their history as barbers, as usual, on the Nomad Barbershop. So yeah, guys.
Thank you for coming. First of all, man.
Yeah,
thank you for choosing and coming to see us. It means a lot to us, especially you're a guy who kind of been following for a couple of years and seeing your evolution. Is pretty cool that you thought of us. So welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, welcome to Montreal.
Thank you.
So for me, barbering really started in high school. Wanted to go out to the barbershops more often. Mom didn't have all the money to pay for the cut, so just started cutting my hair at home, started cutting friends in high school, and it just grew from there. My first job was actually in a barbershop, just cutting hair. I worked with a woman, she had a salon, she wanted some men cuts done, so I went in there, I started working and sort of dabbling with that way. As I, progressed in sort of, after school and, working and kind of doing business, I kind of always came back to barbering. I found it was something I like to do as a sort of a side job, and so it's been on and off for a few years. And it's funny that later in life, when you realize, you work for corporations and things like that, and you want to sort of say, well, take time off, or you don't have that sort of freedom. Yes, you're making money, but that freedom to go and come. And I always found barbering gave me that. It gave me the ability to say travel or block time off, because I'd have a schedule and I can just sort of set myself up that way. So that's kind of why I sort of turned and said, look, I'm going to make a career out of this thing. You know what I mean? So sort of leaving the corporate world and kind of going into, being an entrepreneur. So it's really cool that way. Yeah.
Amazing.
How about you?
So?
For me, well, it's kind of similar to Mike's story. Coming in as an immigrant here to Canada a couple of years ago, same thing. Like didn't have a job. I used to always cut my own hair. I can kind of say it runs in the family too. My mother was a hairdresser. My aunt's a hairdresser. I have a younger cousin back in my home country of Colombia that's also a barber. It's just something that kind of just always ran. I always had a pair of scissors and something. Just to cut my own hair. My mother didn't want to give me money to go every week, same thing. So I just said, you know what, for my birthday, give me a pair of clippers and I'll start cutting my own hair. Started out with 3 mirrors, and luckily I'm ambidextrous, so I was able to do both sides. And that was it. We came here, I got a job, so it would take me too long to cut my hair. So I started going to a local barbershop here in Montreal. And I used to tell the guy that I could cut hair, and I would just see him because it would be quicker. And then one day, again, I didn't have a job anymore, so I was back to cutting my hair. Cutting my hair, give myself a nice haircut. After my mother was like, cut your brother's hair. I cut his hair, machine blew halfway. So I had to take him to the shop, and he asked me like, oh, I see you cheated on me. You gone somewhere else? I'm like, no, cutting my own hair. And he was pretty shocked to see. I guess it was decent at the time. And he told the owner, and they gave me a chance. I told them I had never worked professionally, but I was a hard worker and I would learn quick. And that was it. 2 years after that, I was basically running the shop, and that's how kind of my clientele, everything built up. I also went to school, and I just always found myself going to school. I did international business, but I just always kept coming back to barbering. And just pretty much everything I learned in school, I just kind of adapted it and met Mike and the other partners, Keneal and the rest of all the original guys here. And we put this together, and it's just barbering's been everything to me. It's allowed me to do so many things that I didn't think I was going to be capable of doing. So same thing like Mike, I got to travel and see parts of the world that as a child were like a dream. And so pretty much I'll say a lot of this shaped me into the man and the professional I'm nowadays, is because of this, choosing this path to becoming a barber.
And what would you say makes you guys stand out to other barbershops?
On my personal opinion, I would have to say maybe customer service. Because I like to say a lot of us, we're all relatively young people here, but we have an old school barber mentality, which is manners, greeting, customer service, cleanliness, tidiness. So I just guess in that, because we're pure-hearted, that's what kind of separates us when it comes to it. It's people's preferences too, right? So, but in my opinion, that's what I think might separate us than the other places.
Absolutely. I mean, Mint is a condition, right? So, we're setting out to do the best that we possibly can in all those areas, And, once you've been barbering for a while, like we all did at those various shops, you realize
which weren't the most professional, let's just say that.
Yeah, and you realize what the most important thing is. It's the connection with the customer, It always will be the connection with the customer and how they feel about you and the shop and the service that you're providing them with. So for us, it was so important that we rise above and build that relationship properly. So.
And if you could give me like a short broken down version of what it means for you to be a barber and why you love it, what would it be?
For me, it's always been the connection to the community. You know, there was a point where the barber was just sort of that guy around the corner to cut here. I find now we're like the nucleus, you know what I mean? People come to the barbershop and, you know, you can hear about anything and you can get information about anything, you know, and your barber is usually going to know what's going on, you know, whether it be sports or, you know, the news or, you know.
The gossip was going on the street, who said this, but
you know,
so.
and that's kind of cool. So, you know, when you go out there, if I go to the local areas, you know, hey, that's Mike the barber, you know, and I love that, you know, it's quite satisfying. It's something that, you know, I don't believe we had, you know, years back, you know, when we thought about barbers. So that's really cool.
I agree with Mike. For me, that too, being a barber is that, you know, more than old school way. I feel like we have barbers, we have so many, like, it's like we have tentacles. We can touch people from all walks of life, you know, from your corporate guy to your guy from the street, but you're just learning from everywhere. Like, you're networking, meeting so many people. And like I said, you know, some people are in it for the followers. I'm in it not to gain followers, but to gain clients, which is a big difference. And just that personal, a lot of my original clients, it's funny to say, a lot of them I consider like close friends. I shared like pretty cool moments, and like a lot of opportunities, good opportunities that present themselves in my life. It's been through someone that I cut their hair.
Very true.
So it's just funny how every kind of good thing that's gone to me always links back or brings me back to barbering. So that's what barbering is to me in that sense. You can, like, you know, you're giving a service. You're also sometimes a psychiatrist. Some guys just feel the comfort level. They feel good with you and they sit down. And as men, it's hard for us to sometimes express ourselves. So find a way to escape. So when they come down, they sit, they talk. So I feel like you're gaining back in that sense too.
And it's true, you know, it's not a job, you know, it is a lifestyle here with what we're doing, you know, because again, you know, you have the customer in your chair, sure, you've given them the haircut, but the conversation you had, that conversation carried way beyond the chair. So that's another part of it too, you know what I mean? We live it every day, you know what I mean? So
Amazing. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man.
thank you.
Thank you for visiting us,
Come a
man.
long way.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Wish you the best of luck in all your projects, man, and
Thank you very
Good
much.
job.
inspirational what you guys do, man.